welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me in this video today. And today I'm coming to you with a Christmas holiday season makeup look. I'm also going to be reviewing the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. I know I'm a little bit late to the Makeup Revolution, but I just hadn't had a chance to go out and buy it, and every time I looked for my shade it wasn't there. So I finally found the shade that I think is perfect for me, so I've decided to do a review on. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment if you like the video on that. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this makeup look, and if you want to hear me talk about the Conceal and Define by Makeup Revolution, then keep watching. Happy holidays! Bye! So I'm starting off with my MAC Strobe Cream in the shade Pink Light, and this gives a lovely glow to my skin. It's sort of like my primer. And then I'm using an old mascara brush to comb out my brows, and my Maybelline Age Rewind concealer to just carve them out. And also I'm applying it over my eyelids as an eyeshadow base. Then I'm using the Switch Beauty Slay for Days palette, and I'm using this last line of shadows, which is sort of the orangey brown shades. And I'm taking the first brown shade, and just applying it into my crease. And then the next color, I'm applying it on my eyelid. And as you can see, I'm building up this color, and as the shadows are getting darker, I'm applying it more towards the center of my lid rather than the crease, just to intensify the color. And I'm using circular motions to do this, just so that I get a very natural blended look of the eyeshadow. And then I'm going into the Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette in the shade Saffron, and I'm applying this to the outer corner of my eye and taking it along my crease as well. I'm then doing a half cut crease, and I'm using my LA Girl Pure Beige Concealer to do this. The brush is really helpful if you are doing a cut crease, because it gives you sort of more control over your eyelid. And then I'm taking a flat brush, and I'm just tapping the concealer onto my eye and sort of blending it so that it is spread evenly. Then I'm going into the last shimmery shade in that line of shadows that I used, which is sort of orangey reddy toned. And I'm also going to use the gold shade. It's sort of goldy bronze in the inner corners of my eye. So I'm just applying that over where I've just applied the concealer as a cut crease. If you are skeptical about doing a cut crease, let me tell you, it changes your eyeshadow so much, and it really makes it pop and gives it such a nice look. And then I just use the Desert Dusk shade in Saffron again on the outer corner and took it into my crease just to blend the eyeshadow out. Now I'm using a black pencil, and this is a Wet n Wild pencil, and I'm just roughly drawing a line on just above my lash line, because I'm gonna blend this out and sort of smoke it out so that it's not so precise. Now I'm taking an angled brush, and I'm just, where I've applied the black line, I'm going over it with the brush, and as you can see, it's creating a smoky effect on the upper line of my lash. And just because this look is very soft, and I don't want a harsh black liner on the top of my eyelid. I'm then using my Maybelline Superstay foundation, and I'm using a brush to blend this out. I haven't used this foundation in ages, so I'm trying it out. I do find that it's a little bit too pinky for my skin, so I'm going to try and make it work today. When you apply your foundation with a brush, you sort of get a more full coverage look. Then using the Holy Grail Flash Case from Switch Beauty and applying some of the yellow shade just to change the undertone of this foundation a little bit. And then the star of the show, the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. As you can see, this is how it looks. It's very close to my skin tone. I've just applied one swipe and then I'm using a beauty blender just to blend it out. Immediately when I apply this foundation, I feel like the coverage is very good. As you can see, it covers up my dark circles quite well, and I didn't use a lot of product. It's very creamy and smooth as it goes on, and it leaves a very flawless look underneath your eye. But I will talk about this concealer a little bit later in the video as well and give you my final thoughts on it. Since this concealer is pretty much close to my skin tone, it doesn't really give a brightening effect under the eye, which is what I love. So I'm going to use it to conceal my dark circles, and then I'm going to use another concealer to highlight underneath my eye. So on immediate first impression of it is very good. Now I'm using the Maybelline Age Rewind concealer in the shade medium to brighten up under my eye and down the bridge of my nose as a highlight shade. This concealer I cannot use to hide my dark circles because it's too light. And now I'm using the Holy Grail Flash Case again, and I'm using the brown shade as a contour shade. Just contouring in the usual places, down the bridge of my nose, my forehead, and the sides of my face. And then I'm just blending that out with a sort of flattish foundation brush. And once this is done, I am going to take my NYX matte bronzer and I'm going to apply this on the sides of my face, on my cheekbones, under my jaw, and on the bridge of my nose again, just to warm up my skin. Then I'm going in with my Avon Mark blush. Now if you haven't tried Avon blushes, they have some of the best blush that lasts the entire day. You should really try them. And another trick is apply blush to the tip of your nose. It really gives you a sort of peachy, rosy look. I've been doing that lately. And then I'm using the Huda Beauty Golden Sand highlighter palette, and I'm highlighting my face in the usual places. And this is giving me a lovely glow. And then I'm using the Holy Grail Flash Case again. I've been loving this product to line my lips, and I'm using the brown shade as a lip liner. And I'm using MAC's Versicolor lip stain in the shade Tattoo My Heart. And this is a very peachy, pinky shade, and I love it. It really looks glossy, but it dries down to a lip stain. So I'm going to apply some false lashes and I'll be back. About this concealer a little bit. So I've got the shade C12, and I'm just going to swatch it on my hand for you. When I first tried it, I felt like it was going to be a bit too pinky for me. So that's it. Oh, I wonder if you can see it. It's very close to my skin tone. And I thought it was going to be too pinky for me. But after using it, I actually think it is the perfect concealer shade for me. Because it's not too... It's not too bright, and it's also not too dark, and it doesn't leave an ashy look on my skin. I've had this concealer on now for about 10 minutes, and when I first applied it, I felt like it was really, really awesome. That it did cover up my dark circles, and it was very smooth and easy to apply, and I love the applicator of it. It's also makes it easy to apply on the skin. It's very creamy and smooth. But now that I'm looking at my eyes in this mirror, I do see a little bit of darkness there. I do see it's not bad, but it is a little dark. Bear in mind, I did not set this concealer with powder because I wanted to see how it performed on its own. So maybe the next time I use it, I'll try and set it with powder and see if it works a little bit better, because now I'm feeling like creasing a tiny bit, and I feel like I can see a little bit of darkness here, and it's not really like making my eyes, I don't know, like smooth underneath it. You can see the indents down there. So this is only my first impression on the concealer. I will be using it again, and then I will probably then be able to give you a full honest opinion. But this is just my first impression, and using it for the first time, I really feel like it's a good concealer. I mean, I bought it from Clicks and I only spent 104 Rand on it, and for 104 Rand, I mean, that is amazing, the job that it did. And I only literally, you see in the video, used one swipe and then a little bit extra here. Maybe it's my fault I didn't set it with powder, that it sort of is creasing a little bit. But other than that, I really think it is. Let me just bring you guys up close. This is how it looks. Up close. Other than that, I really think that it is definitely worth the money, and I would, I'm on the lookout for a really good concealer, and I know that Huda's just come out with a concealer that everyone is talking about. And then there's also Shape Tape, which I haven't used. Those are more high-end concealers. This is obviously a drugstore brand. You can get it from Clicks, and it's affordable, and I think for everyday wear, it's definitely something that you can use. And it feels very nice on the skin, and I don't think they have a very big shade range. Like, I also wanted to get the foundation stick, but I couldn't find my shade in the foundation stick. I feel like it's very limited, and I would have to buy 2 shades maybe to mix and get my shade. But this, I think, is as close as I can get to my skin tone. If you look at the color now, it looks a bit orangey pinky here as it settled, because that's what happens. I think the orange and pinky is very good for dark circles. So I really think my mistake here was not setting it. But if you're interested and on the lookout for a concealer, I really suggest that you try this, and if you do, let me know what you think of it. I would definitely, I can see myself using this on a daily basis. And it also says full coverage conceal and contour. So it claims to be a full coverage concealer. You can also build this concealer up as well if you apply more. That's it from me, guys, and I will see you in my next